The 466th greatest album of all time is entitled Red by the group Black Uhuru. This is a Jamaican reggae band. This album was released. It was released in 1981. It's their second album. It's 39 minutes and 24 seconds long. Mango, Island, and Warner Brothers Records. Produced by Sly and Robbie. This is squarely within the reggae genre. No ifs and or buts there. Um, Kyle, what did you think of Red?
Hey, it's Kyle, just jumping in real quick to ask, do you approve this groove? Let us know in the comments. Give us a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation.
It's not Bob Marley.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I just say that because that's the extent of my reggae exposure, really, like in any significant way. So this is definitely something that was very new
I mean,
to
you
me.
are a bald head. You are a
I
bald head.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not a natty boy.
I'm
You are
not.
not a natty boy.
No, no. I so like I appreciate music that represents other cultures and does it directly in a way that's not like an Americanized version of something that is inspired by something from another culture or region of the world, something like that. Not trying to appease an American audience. I think to go back to that Manu Chao album, that's part of what I liked about that too. Was that
Mm-hmm.
it is very authentically its thing, which is what I
Mm-hmm.
felt about this. Ultimately, I'm not a huge I guess I'm just not a big reggae fan. Um,
Interesting.
there are things that I like about it, um, but there are things like it's just not all that exciting for me. I'm also not a big ska fan. Like as much as I was into various
Less than Jake.
iterations. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as much as I was into like various you know peripheral punk sounds, especially when I was younger, ska was never
Mm-hmm.
one of them that I was really into. Um,
Sure.
so even like that track back to reggae never really clicked for me. Um, this was one that I listened to initially a few months ago and liked it, and then listened to it again in the past week and just kind of was okay with it. So I'm not even sure where I land with it, but
Interesting.
yeah, it was just I liked it for what it was. I think it did what it does well, but what it does,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's just not for me.
I think that I have a similar initial take on reggae in general. In that, when I saw this on the list, and like it was like after Maxwell's album, right? I was like, okay, next up is this one, and then I saw it and I was reading about it. I was like, okay, here we go, because my one of my dislikes, I guess, about the reggae genre is that in a lot like reggaeton, like a lot of the songs just sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a different take from this album. I actually really liked this one, and it surprised me. I really liked it, and I think I'm able to communicate why specifically, which is hey, that's why we're doing this thing, right? If I couldn't, there'd be no point. Um, the bass is like I love a good kind of wandering bass line, and in this record the bass actually mimicked the melody a lot, the lead melodies. Not in every instance, but when I'm listening to a song that I don't know all the words to, I typically hum along with the bass line. I don't typically hum along with lead guitar or even the melody. I'm usually just kind of like humming along the bass line. And this is a fun one to do that too when you've heard it, and it is repetitive in that the phrase will repeat. So you can get into it pretty quickly, and the phrase might be two, three, 4 bars long. So I found myself like listening to this in the car at work this week and just kind of like just vibing with the bass line and humming along with it, and it was enough to where like this is. I'm not a Bob Marley fan either, in that like I'm just not familiar with it. I know the big songs, but never sought it out. I I liked this album. Like this was my favorite reggae that I have ever heard.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I can appreciate it. Like I thought it was cool. Now the lyrics and the stuff that's I have no idea. We've
Yeah.
talked about it before. I'm a lyrics less guy, so none of that mattered to me. But the music itself, I could get down with that. Like it was cool. I enjoyed it. Um, Spongy Reggae is like the probably the biggest song on this album. Enough that there's a remix of it, and it's. I think anyone like if the only reggae song that you listen to is spongy reggae, you'd probably have a pretty good sense of what it was,
Yeah.
of what reggae is. That it just seems like that to me. Utterance is another song that gets quite a bit of attention on this one. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it. What did you give this one?
A 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
I liked it just fine. I would probably put it on again if I was in the mood for it. Yeah.
yeah, I'd give this one a 3.5. Again, if this is one that I think I did. Like I would play this for my kids just for fun. You know what I mean? Like to put this on and have them experience it. Um, I could see like at a summer party putting this on and people not being familiar with it, but it's still like
But
catching a
yeah.
vibe
Yeah.
and doing well. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Um, the album is not like a huge commercial album. There's not a lot of notes on it, at least in the spots where I looked online. But it was ranked as the number third album of the year by NME in 1981, which is just a publication, a music critics publication. Like it had some attention. One thing we talked about as we were leading up to this is that the group Black Uhuru has a very fluid membership. Like
Hmm.
artists come in and out, and there's three people that are credited with being in the band: Michael Rose, Derek Simpson, and Puma Jones. But then as you look at the liner notes, I mean, there's a bunch of other people that played on the album that aren't officially part of the band. Um, so I think there's a creative force, and then they get a band to kind of flesh out their ideas the way they want to. But yeah, this is cool. They put out an album. It looks like they either came back together after quite a long hiatus, or released new music for the first time in 2018. It looked like. I didn't check that out, but it seems like the ghost of Black Uhuru is still around to some degree. So yeah, I would not be afraid to check this one out. It was cool. I enjoyed it. That was the album Red from Black Uhuru at 466.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'd love to know what you think of this album, so let us know in the comments. Do you approve this groove? And as always, a quick thumbs up helps a lot. Subscribe so you can see all 500 albums, and we'll see you on the next record.